All right, now I know the number. I've gotten a heads up on the numbers that, again, they're no better or worse than they usually are, but that people actually wanted to see this, basically two guys dropping down and taking a in the middle of the ring, so they did better at the end of the program. But what are the exact statistics this week?
This week's AEW Dynamite, May 10th on TBS, was watched by, on average, 877,000 viewers.
And over the past several weeks, it's been 860, 830, 830, 860, 860. So we're about in the range.
Well, the show opened up, and these were compiled by WrestleNomics. The show opened up 8 to 8:15 p.m., segment 1. Claudio Castagnoli versus Ray Phoenix with picture-in-picture, 866,000 viewers.
And again, we got to have somebody find out for us if the business, the Big Bang Theory business, the bottom's dropping out of it. Because they were always over 1 million at the start. Now they're not even over 900 at the start. And that's the Big Bang.
Well, again,
what they're handing off.
A lot of things happening on TV right now, specifically with the NBA, so that may play a part of it. But segment 2, 8:15 to 8:30 p.m., Miro backstage, the MJF video, the Blackpool Combat Club and Elite video, FTR, Mark Briscoe, Jay Lethal, Jeff Jarrett, Sanjay Dutt, Satnam Singh's live angle, and Chris Jericho and Roddy Strong's backstage angle, 859,000 viewers.
So they only lost 7,000. That ain't as bad as normal. So every once in a while, it's 100,000.
Well, they started so much lower here, but segment 3, 8:30 to 8:45 p.m., Thunder Rosa showing up backstage, the Sammy Guevara video, Tony Khan's backstage announcement of a future announcement, and Orange Cassidy versus Daniel Garcia, 880,000 viewers.
Can you believe that? They got 21,000 back. Actually, more than back. They didn't have them to begin with.
I do believe that because I also think, unless you knew the main event was on last, and if you wanted to see it, you'd probably start tuning in closer to 9 o'clock thinking it could be them.
Very true. Continue.
Segment 4, the continuation of Orange Cassidy versus Daniel Garcia with picture-in-picture, as well as an Outcast and Hikaru Shida video, and Christian Cage's promo, 878,000 viewers.
And they only lost 2, so they're flat again. So apparently in this particular week, everybody that started out with this program said, okay, we want to watch this tonight. They've given us the pay-per-view level lineup, so we're going to stick with it. This is the least variation they've had. They've been down 7 and up 14 from the start, the whole fucking show through so far.
Segment 5, the 9 o'clock hour, 9 to 9:15 p.m., Darby Allin's video, as well as Anna Jay versus Julia Hart with picture-in-picture, Falls Count Anywhere or No Holds Barred. I think that's what it was.
Yes.
877,000 viewers.
So they only lost 1,000 more. If they didn't run them off with Anna Jay and Julia Hart, they ain't going anywhere.
Segment 6, 9:15 to 9:30 p.m., Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends promo, as well as the House of Black versus Bandito and the Best Friends with picture-in-picture, 842,000 viewers.
Ouch. Okay, I'm sorry. Anna Jay and Julia Hart didn't run them off, but Pockets did. There's 35,000. They just wanted to get away from him. They promised they'd come back.
Segment 7, 9:30 to 9:45 p.m., Kyle Fletcher is attacking Orange Cassidy backstage, Jack Perry's video, Ricky Starks' video, and the beginning of Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley, 880,000 viewers.
And son of a bitch, they came right back as soon as they cut Pockets off the screen.
And finally, segment 8, 9:45 to 10 p.m., Jon Moxley versus Kenny Omega in a cage with picture-in-picture, as well as the post-match angle with Don Callis, 937,000 viewers.
And that is amazing. that they picked up another 57,000 people in the last segment that they never grow in, that they hemorrhage viewers in. And that, can you remember another AEW program where the last 15 minutes was the highest rated quarter in the whole program? I don't think there's ever been one.
I'm looking for it now. I don't know about highest rated quarter, but I think the last time I remember a rise, I got to check here, may have been the Kenny Omega versus El Hijo del Vikingo match. Which again goes into something about if Kenny Omega is the guy who at the very beginning of AEW, a lot of fans were pumped up to see, and then AEW, they made him the world champion, but you could argue about how well he's been booked or not booked.
Right.
People still want to see him as a single star, I think, more than they want to see every other way they've been using him. And again, there may be physical limitations because of his injuries. That
I think you're right, because think about it. The best of 7 series where people had to watch him and the Buckaroos and the Six Mans, they lost 6 figures of viewers at the end of every program. And every time he's in another one of these multi-person things with his little friends, it loses viewers. But then, of course, this was a cage match, but still, as a single, for whatever reason, people want to see this douchebag. So I have to admit that.
Hey, I found it right here. AEW Dynamite, March 22nd. The show opened, for the record, 1,016,000 viewers. That was Darby and Orange Cassidy and Sting versus the Butcher, the Blade, and Kip Sabian. But segment 3, which was the Factory video and Tony Storm versus Sky Blue, was 911. And then it went up to 965 and 969 for the final 2, which was Kenny Omega versus El Hijo del Vikingo. So not a huge rise, but certainly over segment 6, there was a rise.
Boy, I tell you what, if it had been my television program, I'd have like, Jesus Christ, almost 1 million people watched the last 15 minutes for the first time, and they have to see that. It was just, I don't care whether people watched it or not, it was embarrassing. And you may have liked it as a fan, but if you're in the wrestling business, again, I draw the analogy, does the star of the Metropolitan Opera get offended when they hear Milli Vanilli selling records? It's the shits. It's embarrassing. And I don't know that you should want to root for people to watch this kind of stuff, because then it makes people want to do more of this kind of shit. And then we're where we are today, because that's all they've done now for the past 20 years, is do more of that shit.
Yeah, the problem is the Moxley stuff specifically. Tony lets him do anything he wants to do, and his ideas are really, really bad. Brock Lesnar experienced that years ago. Other people in that company may have experienced that too. Moxley has bad ideas that he's convinced are really good, and he wants to do them, and he only wants to do them. And to me, it's just as lame as it could be. It was just a manufactured group that he put together. He declared they were dope. They're feuding with the Elite. We really don't even know why. Danielson couldn't even comprehensively explain or coherently explain why last week. We're doing this because we want to make you better. And we want people to be better. And you're amateur. Where is this coming from?
It always improved me when somebody would correct me by stabbing me in the face with a screwdriver.
Not very good. But there, people seem to like it, and that was AEW Dynamite.